In this project we're going to make an equatorial sundial. This is one of the easiest ones to make. You don't have to do any calculations, and this one that we make is going to work anywhere in the northern hemisphere, and it'll be accurate. Even though it's only made out of card, it'll be accurate within a few minutes. Firstly, collect together all the things that you're going to need. The stick is going to be made out of a barbecue skewer, and the 2 sheets of A4 card need to be probably about 300 GSM, either card or thick paper. You can pause the video here while you make sure you've got everything that you need. We'll start off by making the base of the sundial. So we need one line which is exactly 3 centimeters from one edge, and then we need to make another line which is exactly halfway along down the length of the A4, so that would be 10.5 centimeters. And draw those on, and then just double checking that I've actually got it in the middle. That looks fine. Now we're going to fold the actual face of the dial. So make a line that's exactly 15 centimeters from one edge of your second piece of paper, and then we're going to score along that with the point of the compasses. Not too deep, but just to make sure that when you fold it, it's going to fold exactly on that line. And you'll notice you've got one piece which is slightly shorter than the other. The shorter piece, mark that up as winter. Might want to do this in pencil so you can rub it out later, and the longer piece is summer. Starting on the summer side, we need a line that goes exactly halfway down, so that'll be 10.5 if you're on A4. I'd probably do this in pencil, I think. And then we need another line which is exactly 12 centimeters from the bottom edge, and mark that across. Now the next thing we need to do is to transfer these lines onto the other side, onto the winter side, and the best way to do this is to make some holes with your compasses to mark where the lines are, then flip it over, and you should be able to find the holes and then join them up with lines. So those should be the exact sort of mirror image of what's on the other side now. So to draw the hour lines on the summer face, get your protractor positioned exactly right, and then we need to draw a little mark every 15 degrees. After that, using the compasses, draw 3 semicircles. Doesn't matter exactly where these are cosmetic, but the numbers of the hours are going to go inside those circles. And then we need to join up the marks we made so we can get the hour lines, and stop them at the first of your circles. And keep going till we've got all the hours, so that will do us from 6 in the morning till 6 at night. Then you can open the face out and do exactly the same thing on the winter side. You'll only need 2 semicircles for this one though. Now we're going to number the hour lines, so 12 goes in the middle, and then holding it this way round, the morning hours go on the right hand side and the afternoon hours go on the left hand side, like that. And when you open it out to do the winter ones as well, it's important to get them lined up in exactly the same way, so that do them exactly the same as the diagram that's here. So the morning hours match and the afternoon hours match. And then what you could also do is put a second set of numbers underneath in the summer, maybe in a different colour, and these are going to be one bigger than the numbers you've already got, and these will be the hours for British summertime, which will be explained a bit later. Get your barbecue skewer and put it through the hole where all the hour lines meet on both sides. Make sure it fits through okay. And then you can put some tape on to fix the summer and winter sides together so they don't move. If you want to, you could put some down the side edges as well. That'll probably make it look a little bit nicer. So the sundial is going to be at this sort of an angle to the horizon. And it's really important to get these angles right because this is what makes it accurate. So the angle between the base and the face with the summer and winter sides is going to be 90 degrees minus whatever your latitude is. So where I am at the moment is in Bedford in the UK, so my latitude is 52 degrees. So I've calculated that 90 minus my latitude is 38 degrees. So you need to use whatever values work for where you are at the moment and just round it to whatever the nearest degree is. But you need to work these out and write them down. Now we're going to get out the base which we made earlier and draw a diagram on there which will help us to work out the length of the barbecue skewer that we need. So draw a line parallel to the top. I did mine 2 centimeters from the top. Then get your protractor and measure out 90 minus latitude, which you worked out earlier. Let's draw that line in. And I'm marking on it the place it's for as well, just so I can remember. And then you need to measure exactly 12 centimeters, which is the measurement we used before on the face of the dial, and drop down a line which is at 90 degrees to that point. And then if you get your protractor and measure the angle that you've made down at the bottom of that line, that should be your latitude if everything's worked out well. Then I'm going to measure the length of the hypotenuse of my triangle and transfer that onto the midline of the base and put a little hole in there because that's where the pointy end of the barbecue skewer is going to need to be. Now I can use my diagram to make a mark on the barbecue skewer where the next piece of tape is going to have to go. Notice that the point of the skewer is pointing downwards like that in the diagram. Then if I get some tape, the tape needs to go on the pointy end underneath the mark I just made. Make the tape as close as possible to at right angles to the stick itself. We can tape the sundial faceplate now onto the base, and being really careful to line it up with the lines that were drawn earlier and to make sure that the middle of the sundial lines up with the line marking the middle of the base. If you tape it on both sides, that will be stronger. Just trim it up, make it look good. So now all we have to do is push the skewer through from the underneath, from the winter side, and make sure that the piece of tape, the little flag, touches against the base, and put the point in the little hole that you made in the base, and your sundial is basically complete. So all we need to do now is take it outside on a hopefully sunny day, and the barbecue skewer, technically that is the style, that needs to be pointing exactly north, and it needs to be pointing to true north, not magnetic north. Now you'll probably notice that the time shown by the shadow of the style Probably doesn't match exactly what is on your watch at the moment, and that's because the sundial is telling you sun time, but there's a calculation you've got to do to make that into sort of normal human time. So we're just going to explain that now. So the additions that you need to make, the length of the day measured by the sun is not always 24 hours, it actually varies during the year. So there's an adjustment that you have to make according to what date it is, and that's called the equation of time. And you find that by looking on a chart like this one shown here. Find where today's date is, and that will tell you how many minutes you should add or take away to get from sun time to clock time. And basically it should be like either plus or minus up to 15 minutes. Second thing you need to take in account is if it's British summertime, if the clocks have gone forward, then you need to add on 1 hour to the sun time. And then the third thing, that applies if your longitude is different from the longitude of your time zone. So where I am in Bedford, it actually isn't, so I don't have to bother with step 3. But if you live in a part of the country which is much further west or much further east than London, then you need to add on 4 minutes for every degree you are west of London, or take away 4 minutes for every degree you are east of London. If you do all those calculations, work out how much time you're going to add or take away, and then if you apply that to the time shown by your sundial, you should get something pretty close to what's shown by your clock.